What's up, YouTube? Crispy Charizard here. Now, I may not have mentioned it before, but every time a new Pokemon series reaches its second half or towards the end of its final series, because sometimes it's multiple seasons, I always try to find reasons to justify Ash actually winning. And while, most people are like, oh, that's just a waste of time. They would never let him win because then they wouldn't be able to continue the series. The series are going to be, eternal. Ash doesn't age. Ash doesn't win. That's the rule. So the show's going to last forever because Ash never ages or wins. And I'm like,
hey, shut up.
I know why they're doing it. I'm not an idiot. I know why they're doing it like that. I just think that the show would be so much better, which would benefit everyone, if they stopped doing it like that and started doing new things. I was planning on making a whole video of ways that would make the anime better, and most of those are just copying other anime that I know are extremely successful, especially those that are based directly off of manga, like One Piece. One Piece did a time skip, which it's incidental, but it would help Pokemon immensely. It's just one of many possible things they could do. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you why Ash might or should, I don't know, might and should, whatever, win the Alola League. Now, the first reason, obviously, is because the show needs to get better. They might disagree with me up there at, Pokemon's headquarters where they make all the video games and all the anime, and like whoever is making the decisions, whoever this is up to, they may be completely sure that their viewings and their demographics are gonna be just whatever generation is newer. So Ash doesn't age, Ash doesn't win, But wouldn't Pokemon be so much better if Ash actually won and started aging? There's so many things he could do. Like, there could be a time skip and he could be an adult or at least a teenager of some sort. It would progress the story. It would be popular. I almost guarantee it. No one is saying that that shouldn't happen. Everyone is saying that it won't happen because it hasn't happened yet. And they may be right. Maybe it'll never happen. But no one has ever said that they shouldn't do that. Unless they're crazy, because everyone thinks that, if they think they'll make more money leaving the show as it is, and they're repeating and repeating and repeating, region after region after region, generation after generation, Ash doesn't age, Ash doesn't win. Really? Is that... Are you sure that that's successful? Are you sure that... Sure, maybe it gets views with the younger viewers. I don't know, maybe it's popular with the younger viewers to have Ash relatable or whatever. I know how it works. But everyone would appreciate it if Ash would simply win a league and the story would progress in some way. Now, I'm getting off track. I should just tell you the ways it could progress. One way is, of course, a time skip, where they just skip to, after a series of training, by himself, he's suddenly a teenager or an adult. That's one way to do it, but they don't have to stick with Ash. Another way is a spin-off. They could just spin off into a completely new character. Everyone's been wanting that for years. They could spin off with a completely new character, or spin off on an old character. They could make the series solely about everyone Ash has ever traveled with and stick with them. Or maybe they do a combination of these. Maybe they do a time skip and keep the show and start a new Pokemon show that is focused on another character. Who says that maybe that'll be expensive, but I'm just telling you what I want to see. Nothing wrong with that. And of course, specifically something that I wanted to see for years now is Ash challenging the Sinnoh Battle Frontier. After Generation 3 and he went through Hoenn, he challenged the Kanto Battle Frontier with Scott and the Frontier Brains in Kanto, which was a direct reference to the Battle Frontier in Pokemon Emerald. Now, Ash traveling back to Kanto was mostly the Battle Frontier thing was kind of like the show taking a break while they prepared Generation 4 And I know how that works too. But they mention the Sinnoh battle frontier in Generation 4 all the time. Sinnoh has their own battle frontier. Their Tower Tycoon, frontier brain is Palmer, Barry's father. Ash battled him once, but Ash never directly challenged the Sinnoh battle frontier. After Generation 7, or maybe after Generation 8, since everyone's assuming that Gen 4 remakes will be after Generation 8, Ash might eventually get to challenge the Sinnoh battle frontier. It would not be a stretch. But regardless of that, here's more reasons why Ash might actually win the Alola League. One thing is the hype. They've been building this up for at least a season. Back when they visited Kanto again, Professor Cuckoo announced, I'm going to create Alola's first official Pokemon League, because Alola's with traditions, it's not a developed region, and that was good for the video games. The video games of Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon completely flipped everyone out by, introducing a region that has no gyms. And it still doesn't have any real gyms, like just Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, just like a mock gym. Good for practice. But the league is in development as it was in the video games. The anime is copying the video games in many ways. The point I'm trying to make here is that the anime, while a little behind, is copying the plot of the video games very closely. The way they saved Lusamine was like paralleled, just because, many things in the video games and the anime are paralleled, because that's how it works. But they've paralleled a lot more this time. For the very first time, Ash is wearing the same clothing as the protagonist's son in Sun and Moon. They've never done that before. There's always been separate characters. Sure, Ash and Red are not even the same person, but Ash has never worn the exact same costume as the protagonist, protagonist being Red, Ethan/Gold, Brandon, Lucas, I don't even need to list their names. Most of them haven't even appeared in the anime. Some of them maybe have made cameos and like a movie intro, but most of the male protagonists from the video games have never made a proper appearance, any more than a cameo, or even nothing at all, if at all, in the anime. Now, all of a sudden, when they introduce Sun and Moon, it's just like in the video game. Ash is not challenging gyms. Ash is going to take the trial challenge, meeting the Tapus and the Kahunas and doing those challenges and getting Z crystals instead of badges. That's all fine and good, The video games did something new. People were like, okay, trials instead of gyms, Z crystals and Kahunas, 4 islands, blah, blah, blah. Anime did the same thing, but Ash wearing the same clothes as the protagonist from the video game was a big flag from day one when Sun and Moon was introduced as an anime. Like, as soon as Sun and Moon was introduced as an anime, back in the original poster, I immediately noticed what Ash was wearing. I'm like, that's the same clothes as the video game protagonist. That's significant. They don't just do anything for no reason. Every single thing has a purpose. When it comes to shows, TV shows, anything like anime, this show is not loosely made. It was specifically made, and Ash's clothes are not a coincidence. I am betting on it. I'm calling it right now. Now, and what am I trying to call here? So what if he's wearing the same clothes? He's wearing the same clothes because in the video game, the protagonist is the first champion of Alola. He challenges the league as soon as it's done under construction, and your protagonist in the video game is the first champion of Alola after defeating the Elite Four and some stand-in rival like Professor Kukui or how. Honestly, I haven't even finished Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, so I don't know how it ends. But is it possible? Just consider it. Be fair that the reason they gave Ash the same clothes as the video game protagonist is because they're trying to foreshadow that Ash is going to become the first champion of Alola. The build-up for Professor Kukui is such a big deal that they even included a shot of it in the very latest intro of the anime. Inside the song, right after Brock and Misty visit Alola for the first time, and they have this new intro. Like, it's the same intro, but they just changed one scene when the music, builds up, and then towards the end, and then it shows Kukui standing over the construction site and him just imagining in his mind what it's going to look like when it's completed. And it shows what looks like himself with an Incineroar, although it could be someone else with an Incineroar, battling below. And it was such an awe-inspiring scene because this is just proving that Sun and Moon is going to end with a league just like everything before now. Ash challenged the Indigo League, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, Kalos. He never won any of those, but of course he did beat the Kanto Battle Frontier as well as the Orange Islands, which technically no one really cares about. An official league, even though it's like a young one, is still a big deal. And I'm only crying out for this because I need the anime to progress. I'm not saying I'm going to stop watching if it doesn't, and I am admitting that the target audience is less than half my age. But that's fine. You can think what you want, you can say what you want, but who would really stop watching if Ash actually started maybe aging or winning a league? Like, who would really, at any age, who would really just say, oh, Ash won a league for the first time. That's it, I'm going to stop watching Pokemon. Who do you think would say that? Just be honest, come on. No one would stop watching if Ash won a league. It's common sense. Maybe people are stopping watching because he's never going to win. I don't know. There's tons of things they could do if he wins. They don't have to end the series. They can make spin-offs. They can make a time skip. They can make, I don't know, they could make alternate realities. They've done it with the movies. They've done alternate movies instead of alternate realities. They could pull a J.J. Abrams. They could do a Star Trek. I've used that example tons of times before. They can do whatever they want. But I would finally like some closure. And I think the build-up of Professor Kukui, as well as the foreshadowing, as well as Ash's clothes, as well as the video game, I think it's time. Now, on a side note, Generation 8 is going to be announced, but we don't know anything yet. So, for all we know, Generation 8 is going to be a soft reboot to the series, or a soft reset in the case that Ash does win the Alola League. Now, resets, reboots, I don't know if those are options, but apparently you never know. So,
that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and comment down below, and share with a friend if you like. Don't forget to also hit that notification bell, because it is very apparent that my videos are not reaching my subscribers. And that is, of course, nobody's fault, except maybe YouTube's, but it's fine. Just, hit that bell if you have noticed that you're watching every one of my videos really, really late compared to when they're released, because I'd appreciate a little help on actually reaching my subscribers, because my videos, like, either people are choosing not to watch them, or no one is getting them in their sub boxes. So yeah, eliminate one of those at least. And I'll see you guys next time.